Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club. Sorry if it's a little bit echoey, and if you hear the pitter-patter of dog steps, we're
You know what? They've been hearing the jingle-jangle of cats, so
yeah.
it's acceptable.
So what was that, Realm?
What?
What the fuck, Realm?
I am severely disappointed in this adaptation, to say the least.
I feel personally victimized. I demand reparations from Warner Brothers Japan. I demand that time of my life back.
I'm genuinely sorry for the girls' Frontline fans out there.
Yeah.
Or the dolls' Frontline.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible adaptation.
So I guess we should probably do some ratings.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Why don't I start? This was shit. I'm not sugarcoating that. This was shit. Speaking as someone who has actually played some of the game, this was shit. Warner Brothers, you disappoint me continuously, again and again and again. First there was Fantastic Beasts, and now there's this. You are just on a losing track. You know, do better. Get good, fam.
Yeah.
I did not like the animation. I did not like the music. I did not like the characters. I did not like the story.
OP and ET weren't bad.
I did not like them though.
Honestly,
this was a dumpster fire.
Honestly, what really would have helped my opinion, at least with the animation side, I don't know if the story could have been saved just because of the format they were telling this in, but I think at least the animation could have been saved if they animated the rest of the show like how they animated the opening.
Oh yeah, but the opening was so smooth and nice.
It was it had like a very nice like cell shaded art style to it is the best way I could describe it, but that was probably where most of the budget went, honestly, was to the OP.
Yep. Seriously, most of that probably went OP.
And also, I don't know, I know Nick Nack here watched some of the dub as well. I didn't get a chance to watch the sub, and the reason I didn't watch the sub is because I already knew about the Japanese voice acting, because that's what I played the game in when I did play it.
Oh, the sub was so bad. At least the first episode was.
Yeah.
Because... And this might not have carried over to episode 2 and 3, but I swear to God, the first episode, the subs were so slow to appear, and this is across all my devices, and on the Crunchyroll version at various, I don't know if there's a difference with Funimation, but on the Crunchyroll version in episode 1, the subs would appear, halfway into the character talking, and then by the time another character was talking, the subs would still be there, and at times it overlapped.
Ouch. Yeah. So yeah, that was apparently an issue. I didn't get a chance to confirm that for myself. But if that's the case with the Crunchyroll version, then Crunchyroll team probably need to fix that.
Do better.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. But also, I didn't really, and my goal really was to listen to the English dub anyways, because I wanted to hear who they chose for the voice acting roles. They didn't really do a very good job, in my opinion, for this one. I was honestly really disappointed. All the characters' voices sounded so flat. I get that they maybe were trying to go for the feel of all of them, since all of them are dolls and machines, that they're not going to really have that much expression in them. But it still feels like they could have put a lot more emphasis onto actually playing these characters than they actually did. It really feels like they weren't trying. That was kind of my problem with the voice acting, at least for the English dub that I watched. So yeah, I was very severely disappointed by it. Plus the animation was awful as it is. The only thing that was good was the OP, and the sound effects for the guns. Absolutely garbage. I don't understand why they got that so wrong. I saw this one clip of where they edited the same scenes, but they put the actual sound of the gun in there. It sounds so much better. It sounds so much better. I think the only reason that they didn't do it is so that way it doesn't sound like an actual gunshot going off. I think that's the only feasible reason why they made the guns sound so cartoony in this adaptation.
Yeah, I am really sorry to you Girls Frontline fans. So is that a meh, a shit, an ooh?
This is definitely, for me, for what I've known about the Girls Frontline mobile game, the actual story there, this is a shit. This is a severe downgrade in quality from the mobile game.
2 for 2.
All right, Vorn, you go.
Okay, I assumed there was a story. If there was, I didn't understand it. And in episode 2, that camera shaking made me actually doubt the age rating of the show. Massively. Yeah.
Yeah.
OP loved it. At least like the art design. The music was fine. ED. Actually, no, I probably shouldn't be doing this right now. Sorry.
No, that's fine. You can talk about the ED here.
What's your rating, Born?
My rating on this is, damn, I really like the action scenes. That's the problem. Even though how crap the show is.
It's up to you. This was my show. I gave it a shit anyways.
I'm gonna give this a meh, but just solely for the action scenes.
Mm.
Those action scenes are really nice. Although the tactics were crap as shit.
And you, Knick-Knack.
So,
Bless us with your wisdom.
contrary to Vorn, the point when I realized how bad this show was the action scenes. Without describing the story behind it, there's a part where a bunch of characters are firing on a single person who's a standing target, and that person's firing back. Those bunch of characters stand around for a solid, 30, 45 seconds just firing
And nothing
constantly.
hits.
Nothing hits. There's no movement besides...
Yeah, sorry. I'm the American meme thing right now. I just see guns and it's like, yeah.
I look at that, and that might have been some of the worst gun combat I've ever seen in an anime.
Oh, yes. But America. Guns are cool.
I see
Arguably coming from the least American one of the four of us.
Yeah, arguably.
And then, just watching the story play out, the story was just... It didn't set itself up, at all. There was no world building here. They gave you... What's going on? Go.
Yeah, no, they absolutely dropped the ball with any sort of story setup. You could potentially blame that on how short this was, since this was only a 12-episode anime. And because literally what they did for this anime, and I recognized it because I remember some of this stuff also happening in the mobile game, but they literally condensed roughly anywhere from six chapters of story into a 20-minute episode.
To be fair, I would like to make the commentary that if they had gone at the same rate as the mobile game, I would have found a gun and shot myself.
Yeah.
Speaking as someone who has played the mobile game, much like Fate Grand Order, it is unbearably slow to play through.
Yes, it is so unbearably slow to play
So
through.
I can't blame them for speeding it up.
Yeah, but the problem is that because they sped it up as well so drastically in comparison, they lost a lot of the information that kind of sets up the world and sets up the events that are supposed to happen and the reasoning behind it. So there's just a lot of information that gets lost, and then there's also in the mobile game there's chapters that they I don't think that they really cover, or if they do cover, they only cover them briefly. But there's a separate section called night chapters, where essentially those ones they have their own self-contained stories, but they affect the overall plot in another separate way, and none of that information was in here. So there's just a lot that's missing from this. So much. This show just got done this adaptation just got done so dirty.
I have to say, for my rating at least, I'm looking at this in. The problem is, if I think about the shits I've given before, the shits were things that stick out in my mind as shit. I'm not going to remember this in the next few months. This is the hardest net I've ever given.
I'm going to remember this forever. And it is going to be a bad memory for all time.
This is going to be an incredible disappointment on my long list of disappointments.
Just another in the long line of things that disappoint me.
So we have 2 shits and 2 mez. I'm pretty sure that means, do we have an E tier or is it a D tier? I think it's an E tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so speaking on the technicalities of it, I just spent 10 minutes trying to looking up the fucking composer for this series and trying to figure out what else he's done. Apparently, he was nominated in 2013 for one of his live action films, and he's done one other anime from 2019 called Manaria Friends that has almost as bad a rating as Dolls Frontline does.
Oof.
But he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. I had to go to his personal website. It looks like he's done a bunch of commercials and maybe a live action thing or two.
Everyone has a
So-
first project. And I gotta say, this, like most of this anime, the soundtrack didn't stick out to me as bad. It just stuck out to me as completely unremarkable.
Which really disappoints me because the actual soundtrack for the mobile game is actually pretty good, especially some of the more high energy songs, because there's a lot of other songs from this game that are actually really good. But this anime soundtrack is not it. This ain't it.
I do wonder, did they use any music from the game at all? Or...
I didn't hear any tunes.
Okay, so the thing is, knick-knack, but that's... Everyone has to have his free... That's not it. This man has been actively composing for commercials and live-action stuff since, like, 2007.
I mean, in terms of anime, because, like, when I look at... Because I can... A good soundtrack doesn't necessarily carry over between mediums, so you have to have experience in different mediums to do it.
Yeah.
I think...
Because the thing is that since this is like they're adapting a turn-based strategy game into a live action or into a live action show.
Not live action.
Or not live action.
Animated.
An action anime. So the translation there, it's not very hard, or it's not very good.
Yeah, but anyway, so the composer hasn't done much,
Yeah.
right? And nothing of note that I can find.
And nothing from the
the-
actual game soundtrack got put in here.
Yeah, so this was produced by Warner Brothers Japan through Asahi Productions, and they have done such other notable things as Hello Kitty, Ringo no Mori, Sugar Bunnies, Merman in My Tub,
What?
Beach Boy Riverside, Omae wa Mada Ganma o Shiranai, Santa Company, Christmas no Himitsu.
So I get the feeling here this anime company is not the most... It doesn't have the biggest resume.
No.
What?
You know what? It was founded 49 years ago, though.
I mean, look, they
Excuse
do
me.
Hello Kitty, I guess. Hello Kitty's got its fans.
Only since 2006, and only between 2006 and 2007.
When did Warner Brothers buy him out? Just wondering. Or did they file him?
They didn't. Warner Brothers just used them as like a Japanese production company.
Oh.
They didn't buy them out.
Oh.
They exist separately.
They just contracted with them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing.
I don't know if that makes it worse or not.
There's not much to find in terms of like looking up the actual technicalities of this
No.
show, because it is not from a notable studio. It's not from a famous producer. It seems like Warner Brothers was just like, hey, this mobile game. Well, because this also has 2 Chinese animations
Yeah.
that came out several years before this, and both of those appear to be more popular.
Yep. That's what I've heard.
And they were streamed on Bilibili, which is a really popular Chinese.
It's Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese YouTube, pretty
Chinese
much.
YouTube.
Yeah, there's 2 of those. They're both chibi style, but they were much better received. in 2019.
Yeah, those ones were much cheap. The reason I didn't want to show that one is because that was mostly a fluff show.
I think I would have preferred that.
Yeah. So that one might go into the hat, honestly. At some point. I don't know. I'm maybe not too keen on continuing this series, even if the next one is just the fluff.
You know what the worst part is? Girls Frontline is a prequel for another game.
Yes, it is actually.
Which one?
Codename Bakery Girl.
Yeah, well, it's actually it's a prequel for that game series.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it kind of sets up the events to that game, and they're also remaking Codename Bakery because that game was a lot older, but it was also another tactical strategy game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
so they do have other games, and they're also making yet another game that's based in the same universe. What is it called? I think it's like Neural. It's called like Neural Link or something like that. But it's
Project Neural Cloud.
yeah.
There's
Project Neural Cloud.
also Girls Frontline Glitch and Girls Frontline 2 Exile, which are all in development.
Yes. So those are all other games that they're doing that take place within the same universe.
But we are not here to review the game.
Yeah, we're not here to review the game. We're here to talk about this terrible adaptation.
So I guess since there's not much about the technicalities that we haven't already covered, we should probably move on to story, where I think we may have more thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know. I feel like I actively have less.
Well, you know what? Not all of our episodes are long, heavy hitters. Some of them are 5-minute shits. We'll see you.
Do you want to actually ask, what do you guys actually think of the ED? Because it didn't feel like an ED to me.
It was there.
It was there.
I told you already. I didn't like the OP or the ED.
It was there.
It was weird. That's not an ED, I felt.
I've felt that way about several EDs, and you've told me no, it was.
I mean, but that can also be a compliment. I thought Tanya's ED didn't sound like an ED, and that's one of the best EDs I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next time. Like, comment, subscribe.
I guess.
We're all shit.